All right, y'all. Online dating. First of all, forgive the shakiness. I mean, I'm recording this on my phone, and I just wanted to do this real quick while I'm thinking about online dating and what it means to communicate yourself well. And quite honestly, I'm not going to cover all of that on a video. I think there's a lot that can be said. But anyway, one thing that I want to touch on is that you want to represent yourself well on your profile. And this goes beyond how you look in your photos. Although the look can communicate other things, but that's a whole nother video. This also, it just has to deal with the words on the profile that you have, right? I mean, it should be a duh type of deal. Like, you got your photos and you got the words that are on your profile. But I don't think a lot of guys actually think about how their intellect is reflected in the words that they type to potential suitors. Okay? I know that for myself years ago, when I was on an online dating site, man, I had a female actually take a look at my profile. She read it through and she had a face that basically looked like this. Really? The grammar was horrendous. I mean, just, it was agonizing for her to actually read. I could just tell. And so you don't want to be in that same boat. Since then, I had cleaned up my grammar on that particular profile and everything, and I have learned to represent myself better when it comes to writing. And now that I'm an actual professional writer, I take it all the more to the heart with how I represent myself in my writing and just how I communicate when it comes to text and stuff like that. So anyway, you want to represent yourself well. That's point number one. Point number two, when it comes to actually engaging in conversation via text or IM or whatever you want to call it, learn conciseness. Now, I'm not saying don't sound boring, don't sound inventive, don't sound like you don't have a personality. But what I do mean is, learn to get to the point. No, I'm not speaking for all women, but I'm saying this to the men here because there's some women out there who they don't have time to play games. They don't have time to wait around for you to actually make a valid point about something or say something definitive. They want to have just an ever-flowing conversation that makes sense and that they don't have to work hard to rack their brains about in order to understand what you're saying. Okay, I said a whole lot. Let me make it more concise. A lot of women want you to get to the point. Okay, it's not so much that they don't want you to be less talkative. It's they don't want to work so hard in their brain to understand what you're trying to say. Okay? So, conciseness is key when it comes to text communication. Let's see. And plus, you don't want to present yourself as someone that is just kind of wayward with their words and like you don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, have you ever been to like a college lecture or some sort of talk that someone's giving and it just seems like they're gonna take 20 minutes to make the one point that they needed to make, in response or in whatever it is that they're talking about, and it just like bored you, you know, you don't want to come across that way when in your text conversations. If you're wanting to have successful conversations, make your points clear and try to get to them at a reasonable time. Now, point number 3 I want to say is when you're communicating with potential suitors, man, that sounds so 1800s. You know what I'm saying? Someone that you match with, yeah, throw some emotion into it. Don't be afraid to use emojis, and just, make your speech a bit more colorful. It's just, you want to have a lively conversation. And so does the person, on the other side of the phone screen or computer screen, whatever you're typing on. So yeah. And that's okay. That's okay. I mean, have a little fun. Have a little fun in your text conversations. Okay? And even if you can't type all that you want to say in response to someone, just take a little time just to, send an emoji, and, just have a little fun with it. And, so, because to give a response, to someone that you're talking to, men, to give a response is better than no response. To give a response is better than no response. So, I mean, I wish y'all all the best. And, pay attention to your words. Pay attention to your words and make sure that they represent you well. Okay? Because they might be what makes or breaks a relationship with someone that you matched with. Bye.